Well, folks, over the past few days, I have made what feels like 50 different posts in relation to, Sabrina cutting ties with Bio, which led to numerous discussions about her as a character, her being, a hypocrite, the Maurice factor, how she deals with Calvin, and the list goes on. And I've had some very good discussions with fellow fans over the past several days, and it just felt like a nice trip down memory lane, talking about earlier seasons in the show, pre-Zatima, talking about other characters besides the typical Zach, Fatima, Karen stuff. But one point that was made during a conversation on Twitter was the way that Sabrina just kind of gives Maurice a pass for his behavior because that's just who he is. When he definitely rubs people the wrong way with how he talks to them, calls them out of their name, roasts their outfits, and things of that nature. And it just seems like, yeah, she just, and Calvin is the same way in some regards too, by just kind of letting him do the things he does and he doesn't change. And I brought up the fact that, wow, when you really think about it, Maurice and Karen are very much alike in that even when they are dead wrong with how they talk to someone, how they react to a situation, or when they've straight up just done wrong, nobody really checks them. They just kind of allow that person to have a temper tantrum, to go on a rant, or what have you, instead of telling them what's what. And let's be honest here, even when someone tries to check Maurice, like, Andy did, when she literally went in on him over the phone, or when, they try to tell, or they tell Karen, like, look, Zach is gone, he's moved on, you need to let it go. They kind of sit there stunned for a moment, but more often than not, they're right back to their typical temperament within the next episode. So I wanted to make a comparison here. No, it's not anime, it's not cartoon, so it's not like, oh, he's going to compare like Karen to Dragon Ball Z, or he's going to compare Maurice to a Marvel character. No. Over the holiday weekend, I was watching TV, and there was a mini set of, I think, 4 episodes or something of the Andy Griffith show. Now, I probably said the name wrong, Andy Griffith. That's how I grew up saying it. I know it's like Griffith or whatever, but I call it the way I've been calling it, so don't at me. But basically, I still love the show. I actually own like the first 4 or 5 seasons on DVD. I think I like the show better when it was in black and white compared to when it was in color. Not to mention, once Don Knotts left the series, I was pretty much not really feeling it as much. But if you watch the show, cause I told my mom we were watching one episode. I think it was like when Barney was, wanting to sing lead in the choir, and I sound just as bad as he does. And then Andy, instead of just simply telling him like, hey man, you really ain't got no voice. Because Barney, if you watch it, and look, I'm about to go on a little bit of a tangent about the character. So, oh, this is a waste of time. Just, hey, I'm trying to have some fun with the video, okay? I told my mom, like, 90% of the time, Barney usually is the one who starts the trouble in an episode because he overreacts to something, or he gasses people up. It's like, hey, you need to do this, or this person is about to get married, or, this person is about to, break the law or something. And then it's like, he makes a mountain out of a molehill. But then there are other times where it's like, Andy prevents characters from taking an L. And more often than not, I feel like that's to their detriment as opposed to them learning a lesson. It's like, hey, just tell Barney he can't sing. I mean, you got the whole choir looking at him like, why is he singing lead? The man is off key. It's like he's tone deaf. Or Aunt B, she wants to be the announcer at like a pageant, but she can't act. She wants to be the lead in like a play, but she can't act. Or, the famous episode with the pickles is like, she can't cook. It's like she can cook, but these pickles ain't it. So instead of hurting their feelings, Andy will like bend over backwards trying to, orchestrate the perfect scenario where it's like, hey, we can get Barney to sing by getting someone to, you know, dub over his voice behind the curtain without Barney knowing, or we can pretend to like Aunt B's pickles. And it's like, no, I mean, more often than not, these characters gas themselves up like they talking all big. They think they got game. And then Andy prevents them from falling flat on their faces and learning a lesson. And then later on in the series, the same mistake happens again, because I know there's like 2 episodes where Barney thinks he can sing, but he can't. It's like, Andy, just check him. Just check him. Because a lot, excuse me, a lot of times he's feeling himself, and then he starts mouthing off. And I'm like, Andy, come on, don't spare his feelings. Let him flop. And he doesn't do it. I feel like the same thing applies to the likes of Maurice and Karen, where they just continue their irrational, nasty behavior and nobody checks them. Nobody. And like I said, there have been a couple of times where they get checked, but it's like you think they will start to see the error of their ways, yet they just resort back to their usual behavior. And it's just like, how are you, or you look at like Sabrina with Maurice, or Andy with Karen, it's like, why are you friends with this person? They're nasty in terms of their temperament. They're rude. They're just insufferable. I mean, I don't know what's worse, like the number of times Karen has given her best friend Andy ultimatums due to her, indecisiveness on, is she on Karen's side or is she's on Fatima's side? Or when Maurice just, the way he constantly calls Sabrina out of her name, it's just ridiculous to me that even when they take the L's that Andy doesn't allow Barney to take or Aunt B to take, Maurice ends up in jail. He's still the same. It's like he hasn't learned a damn thing. Karen, she's seemingly changing, but she's acting like she has earlier in the show, and then she reverted right back to her old bitter self. A lot of people are speculating. Look, Jeremy, the moment the moment she finds out Fatima's pregnant, all bets are off. And I'm going to do a separate video on that after I record this one. But yeah, it baffles me that these people are in their mid to late 30s and they're just allowed to have these dang tantrums and go off on people. I mean, it takes me very little to just block somebody. Even if it's like a friend I've had for years. It's not even like, oh, well, we have different political views. Something like, but no, there have been times. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm walking into 2024 in a few weeks with a lot less people in my life than I did going into 2023. Because I don't know what it was about this year, but a lot of people just, I don't know, they were just feeling themselves too much, or a lot of people just got short tempers or whatever. But yeah, there are a lot of people that they got that block button, because I don't know, they just either took things the wrong way or don't know how to have a conversation, or just feel like anything is confrontational. And I feel like the same could be true about these people. I mean, if there was a Maurice, with Sabrina, I get it, because, while they were working at the bank, it's hard to like keep away from them, but shoot, have them fired. I mean, think of it this way. I feel like, like people have been fired from that bank for a lot less than what Maurice has done. Like Jacoby fired for punching a customer, despite the fact that he was defending his boss, because Calvin, who was mad about Sabrina not wanting to fix his account, because this was when Q was first introduced. He stole Calvin's checkbook and whatnot from the apartment, wrote a bunch of bad checks, and that messed up Calvin's account. He came in to try to get help. Sabrina was just brushing him off because she was completely unprofessional in that regard, saying that she couldn't help out. When it's like, she was mad at him. I think this was due to the Peggy thing. No, this was before that. I forgot the exact reason why, but she wasn't feeling Calvin for whatever reason. I think they had this argument about something, but he came in there as a customer. He's like, I'm sorry, I can't help you, Calvin. So then he got mad and grabbed her arm. And then Jacoby, stepped in and punched him. And then he got, suspended, and then he got fired. And it's like, wait, what? Yet you have Maurice, who is completely unprofessional, comes on to customers, even when they're straight. Like Preston, when he was first in, when he went to the bank to talk to Sabrina, and then Maurice was all over him. It's like, wait, what the hell? And then, even though he was indirectly responsible for the bank robbery, Sabrina coddles him because remember, the boss thought that Maurice was involved, but I think it was was it Sabrina or one of the cops? I forgot who it was, but one of them said that, Sabrina did a lot of begging and pleading and convincing because Maurice was about to lose his job, but Sabrina went to bat for him. And now look at how he treats her. And now she's, thrown away Jacoby because, well, when they were he was first introduced, he came across as homophobic to Sabrina, but then they went on a date to a bar to talk, and, he convinced her like, no, I'm not. And then she talked about, oh, well, this, that, and Maurice because of his affiliation with Alonzo. And then from there, you have a prince who she literally just discarded because of Maurice. She's a dang fool. So basically, their friends just pacify and coddle them so much, and they need to be, knocked upside the head to just get some sense, because I don't know why. I don't know why these people go to bat for them. But that's just me. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.